Hi. In the previous classes, we have gone through the basic introduction of what job analysis is and what is the basic process that is involved in the overall job analysis program. Now, while talking about the process involved in job analysis, carrying out job analysis, I have told you that there are ways or techniques which are involved in collecting information for the job. So, in particular steps, in the last but one stage, there's a stage where you have to gather information. Now, how do you gather that information? Now, that gathering of information is done through a number of methods. A number of techniques are involved in how you gather information for studying or investigating or carrying out a detailed systematic analysis or investigation of a particular job. So, what those methods are, we'll be covering those things in this video. Right. So we'll talk about methods for collecting job analysis. There are a number of there are a number of methods are there. We'll look into quite a few methods. Not all. We'll not be going in a more exhaustive manner and covering all the methods. In short, in brief, what those methods are. We'll try to understand what those methods are, and there are we can look into some methods which are more quantitative in nature. So few of more quantitative methods, modern and quantitative methods, also will be covering in this video. The first method what we may come across by observation, we can gather information about a particular job. So the job is studied, investigated by gathering information by observing the job holder while at work. So you look into the job by way of observation, where the job holder will be in real time performing, and you will try to understand what are the tasks, duties involved in performing the job, and what will be the expected result, and what is the result which has came out by that. You can tell about analyst can tell about what to say, what type of requirements are there for reaching the expected levels of performance in particular job. So analyst basically observes the job holder and gathers the information through that observation. Now, details are drawn about that job by the analyst in terms of what the work actually being done, how it is being done, and what is the time required, and what will be the result, what will be the outcome of performing that job, and all these are recorded into a particular format developed by the analyst. Well, while doing this, uh, it is very simple that you look into the job and try to get the information. So this method is a little bit convenient, comfortable. So it's a very simple way of collecting job related information. But the point is it's a little bit time consuming because it takes time about understanding all the elements, all the aspects of a job. You need to observe for a uh, mm, quite a amount of time you have to spend with the job holder while observing his or her work of her work performance levels and overall work elements, right? So that aspect is the flip side of this method, and adding to that, you cannot do observation use this method for all type of jobs. uh, you need to adapt or use other methods for different types of jobs. So to in order to in case if you want to save the time, you can think of adapting other methods, or in otherwise this method is for specific jobs where you can easily observe and gather the information, right? So observation method is a very simple method but time consuming and not for all the jobs. So this method is, from that point of view, is cannot be applied to all. And one aspect what that is need to be observed here is that observation method works well when you use this method along with other methods. Means multiple ways of gathering information can be had that will be more reliable compared to only one method of gathering information. Then the other method, as you see in the picture, is the interview method. Means you, instead of observing, what you do is you ask the job holder about his or her job. So analyst, the job analyst conducts an formal interview uh, through a structured format about asking specific questions structured in order to gather the desired or required information, right? So this, there is a structured form used to draw the necessary information, necessary input here. The another aspect is that the analyst must here while getting the information from the interviewee has to record the information what the interviewee has told about his or her job. So while recording, as I have told, there is a structured format. So the analyst has to make judgments. Analyst will not be writing down what is being told by the interviewee, because it's there's a structured format. You have the way of recording the information based on the interview, what is being spoken by the interviewee. So interviewer or the analyst has to make judgments about what is being told and how the information is to be recorded in the form, right? So some kind of judgment has to be taken care has to be taken by the job analyst, and that might bring in one negative aspect from the point of view of the job analyst, is that there might be some bias that might come into picture, because the analyst has to readjust the information according to the structure. So there might be some bias. The requisite information might be recorded based on the importance, has to be recorded based on the importance, but the the way the analyst understands what is being told and how that information being perceived by the analyst. So there might be chance of a bias in the way the information is recorded. So the problem or the negative side of this method is that job analyst who actually does the analysis might become a little bit biased towards the information. Then, but one aspect is that there is the positive side of this method, is that uh, in case if the analyst is highly skilled in conducting interviews and job holder is what do you say is very good at cooperating or disseminating or articulating what the job is about his or her job, then this method becomes highly effective method. Then the method we come across is the questionnaire method. So you have a formal questionnaire, a structured questionnaire. You start out with the basic question, and then you start asking questions which reveal information in a very what do you say, systematic manner. So a structured questionnaire is used, and the job holder is given that questionnaire, and the job holder has to fill up that questionnaire. And the questionnaire might include things related to the job in a various ways, like and things about job title of the job holder as well as the supervisor, and the reporting aspects of the job holder with regard to different staff aspects, so details of the staff reporting, then the description of why the job is there, the purpose of the job, and the details of the job in terms of the tasks and duties, and routine of the job, and the results that needs to be drawn from the job, and the reporting structure, and the sequence of uh, works that needs to be processed. All these elements will be covered in the questionnaire, and the job holder has to fill up those things there. Even sometimes, or even information like the decision making about which is involved in the job, or the level of guidance or the supervision that needs to be received by the job holder from his superiors, or the level of problems that is being solved and how that needs to be solved, and the manner means the way the problems or issues arise in the job and how they are to be solved. If they are, is the job involves a little bit empower, means there is an empowerment, or needs to be decentralized with regard to decision making, and all that has to be included in the questionnaire. Now, the uh, positive thing of this method is that you can gather a large amount of information compared to the previous methods, like the observation method and the interview method. Interview method, face-to-face interview conduct, the limited number of questions you might be asking depending on the availability of the person to whom you are interviewing, the job, and to whom the job analyst is interviewing. And observation method, you have to be with the job holder to increase the amount of information that you need to drag from the uh, job that is being analyzed. So you can avoid that. So what happens is that you can very easily gather a huge amount of data by making the job holder to fill up a questionnaire, which is very sequentially, systematically, conveniently being structurized to the job holder, so that the job holder can give out as much of information as possible. And this questionnaire method can be easily used for a large number of jobs also, not just amount. So a questionnaire method can be used for the amount of information, as well as can be applied to a number of jobs at a similar time. So that makes what most beneficial of this method is that it is time saving compared to the other methods. But there is a negative side. Like, questionnaires alone are not adequate to generate sound information. Means you may have a complexity sometimes through questionnaires, or sometimes qualitative information might not be very what do you say, vividly captured. You may not capture the qualitative information so vividly compared to the quantitative information. So that drawback is there. Then the other method is the checklist method. Here, what you normally do is there is a yes or no type of format. Questions are there, and you simply need to, this is there, yes, this is there, no, this is there, yes or no. You simply put a kind of checklist, all things, which are the things included, which are the things not included. It's a kind of simple checklist. That's what the method is conveniently named according to the way it is being uh, operated. So checklist method is very simple format, and the most best thing is that simply you are trying to give a tick mark. You are simply trying to make things which are included, which are excluded, such kind of aspect is, you are doing such kind of aspect. So you can include a large number of things related to the job. So job holder can give information about a large number of things. So response becomes very easy for the job holder. And since it is very easy, job holder can easily keep on giving information, right? Then these checklist methods, because of that large number, can have a merit that you can collect the information from more people compared to, see, interview we can do 1%, 2%, but questionnaire and checklist kind of thing, questionnaire to some level people might get annoyed or frustrated with the level of question you are being asking, but checklist is something where people will be conveniently giving you information. So about one job, if you're analyzing about a particular job, so you can gather information about that job from multiple people, right? So that is one positive aspect what you can see here. And even the tabulation or organizing the data what you have gathered, it becomes very simple and easy with the checklist method. But but there is the disadvantage side, the negative side. What you see is that you have to, since it is very simple for the other person, but the preparation becomes very uh, tiresome activity. You need to include a large number of things. You can include large number of things, but you need to include those things. That actually takes time, and it's not easy. So it takes time, it takes effort, and as well as it takes cost. Then the other method what we see is that of a conference kind of method. Now, what happens is that you ask a number of experts or the supervisors. The means if you are asking about or you are analyzing about a particular job. Now, what you do is you call upon the superiors of that job, or you call upon as well as along with superiors, as well as you call upon the experts who can talk about that job. Right? You call them and you ask them to come together in the form of a conference, ask them to come together, sit and discuss about the job. Right? Now, the point here is analyst initiates that discussion, speaks with the experts, speaks with the supervisors about what the job is, how it should be done, and what is involved, what is not, what is expected, what is not expected, what is being the result, what is the time period, time frame, what are the processes, what are the reporting structures, what are the connecting activities, and all these being discussed by the analyst with the experts and the superiors. Now, one drawback here. See, you get the expert views. That's the positive thing. But the drawback is that you are not asking the exact job holder. So information might not be accurate. You are not asking the exact job holder. So information might not be accurate. So the point is you get the expert views about the job. You get the information which is given by the experts. But the actual person who performed the job might not be involved in giving you the information. So that's the drawback. Now, these are some basic methods of gathering information. Yeah, there is one more basic method, what you can see here with the diagram, which tells that a person is given a diary. So diary method is also a general basic way of gathering information about the job. So so what happens is that the job holder is given a diary and asked to record the information, record the required or desired information on a day-to-day basis, or as and when works keep on happening. And based on the work and based on the activities involved in the job, you ask the job holder to keep recording the elements of the job in the diary. Right? Now, here point is that you are getting very accurate information here, because as and when the work happens, the person records that work. Right? Things related to the work are recorded. So there is no time lag involved in terms of memory point. Like you might be performing the job and all the aspects of the job being asked by the person like in the other method. Now, as and when the aspect or an element of the job occurs, you start recording that one. So that recording, how you record it in the diary, is given, is being trained to you. You will be told, the job holder will be told about what you have to do and what information has to be recorded, how it is to be recorded, and how information has to be articulated, how information has to be modified in terms of qualitative or in terms of quantitative matter, how it is to be done. That is all those will be told to the job holder whose job is studied, right? So it's a very simple method, but uh, it depends on the person who records it. If the person is not committed enough to give out the information, might be the person might be simply doing it for the namesake. Uh, yeah, it is given to me. I have to simply record it. Chalo, yeah, whatever is to be done, you will just fill it up and give it out. What is so important in that? So if that kind of attitude arises, then that might be a problem there. So the viability or the effectiveness of this method depends on the faithfulness of the person in recording the information. But but the negative side is that it again takes a lot of time because you need to decide about the time frame for how many days the person has to record his or her activities, right? In case, no, it depends, like the level of depth of analysis you might be carrying on, right? So you are extensively doing the analysis, then you need to ask the person to, you might be asking the job holder to record his or her job for a period of 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. So as things go higher, the overall analysis period takes longer time. Right. Now, more what do you say, quantitative kind of methods among the methods involved in collecting job analysis data. We'll look into the three methods. One is position analysis questionnaire. Now, here what happens is that the questionnaire, a structured questionnaire, is used to analyze the job in terms of several items which basically represent a particular element of the job. So for each element, several items are put in the form of a questionnaire, right? Several aspects of a particular element of the job. So total questionnaire might cover a number of elements, but each element is in depth, is asked in a very exclusive form, or you can say in a little bit exhaustive manner. Now, when all the information of all the elements are gathered through the questionnaire, what the analyst do is the analyst tries to classify that information into different areas. Basically, in six major sections, the information gathered is classified, like information input, the mental processes, the work output, which is there related to the job, relationships with the job content, and the other job characteristics. So, six elements of a particular job are studied here, or you can say, in other words, six information about these six elements is gathered through a particular questionnaire. Now, but here what you're doing, these six elements of the job, in terms of each element, six sections, information related to these six sections in terms of each element of the job. So different aspects of the job are there. Each aspect information is collected in terms of these six sections, right? Now, this method, the way of collecting information about the job using this method is considered highly reliable and valid because you can compare this information with other different types of jobs also. But the problem is that it takes a lot of time. As you can see, a lot of methods what you have come across, they all take up a lot of information, sorry, a lot of time in conducting the analysis because of the time involved in collecting information. The other method what we have is management position description method, MPDQ. This is again a kind of standardized questionnaire form, but here you include several items about the job, but what you their information are gathered in PAQ method of information gathering. You collect the information and try to divide it according to 6 sections. But here, what you are doing is you are putting all the elements of a job in a form of a particular questionnaire, and then you are rating those elements in terms of their importance. So each element's importance is being rated out here. Now, based on that, which job carries most important what type of factors, items, and how that job is to be performed using those items. So how the job can be made using those most important items, right? So since this is carrying this way of doing the things, so this method is basically targeted towards analyzing or trying to understand managerial jobs. Uh, like it is suggested like jobs in the areas like product marketing and financial strategy planning, public and customer relationships, complexity and stress and supervision. So such kind of things are included in management position description questionnaire. Finally, the last quantitative method we'll be looking into this video is that of functional job analysis. Now, this is a worker-oriented job analysis approach. So there are two kind of job analysis approaches. That is work-based job analysis. The other is worker-oriented job analysis approach. So two categories of approaches of job analysis are there. Now this quantitative method is a worker-oriented job analysis approach, which basically tries to examine and understand or put before the analyst the fundamental components of three things, that is data, people, and things. Right? So what is the data involved in a job? What are the people relationships? What are the people aspects of the job? And what are the material aspects of the job? Right? So you try to understand and examine these aspects of the job, and from the point of view of the worker, right? By doing that, by using this method, it is possible to identify the various standards of performance and the training requirements of a particular job. So you can look into how the workers are, what is the level of benchmark that needs to be put for the performance of the worker, and what is the training that needs to be provided to reach to that performance levels. Then you have the score of this method, which can be used to what do you say, fix the wage rates. What is the, based on the performance you are trying, you may think of fixing the wage rates there. So you could able to look into the benchmark levels, as well as you could able to fix the payment levels also, right? And even this method is also used to what do you say, go for a employee succession planning also, right? Not leadership succession planning, but employee succession planning can easily be done through functional job analysis, right? So these are the some basic methods. More traditional methods we have seen: observation, interview, questionnaire, checklist, diary method, or conference, and more modern quantitative methods we have PAQ, MPDQ, and FJ methods, right? So these are related to the methods of data use. We normally use means job analysis is about collecting information about a job using these methods, and then completing the analysis part in terms of what is the job is about and how it should be performed. Means what we have seen in the process of job analysis, the last part what you get, you gather the information using these methods, you process it, and the last thing what you get is that you have a total description of what the job is, why it is there, what, who will be performing it, right, and what is expected out of it. Now that all that you can combine together, club together, and say that that is job description. And at the other hand, the information or the output what you get from the job analysis using these methods, by gathering information from these methods, is that who will be performing the job as described in the job description. What are the qualities required to perform the job as described in the job description? What are the qualifications required to perform the job as described in the job description? Right? So the final output of using these methods, gathering information and analyzing that information about a job, is that you have two things, that is a detailed description of the job and a detailed descriptions of the specification levels about the person who performs the job, right? So job description and job specification, right? So these two things are the result or outcome of job analysis. So in the next video, we will look into what job description in detail is about and what job specification. So we'll look into in brief, not in detail, in brief, what is the job description, what is involved. No, exact it means it like it is like exactly what is that job description, exactly what is the job specification, right? So you'll get a picture of the output of the job analysis in those things, that is job description and job specification. So in the next video we'll look into job description and job specification. So for the till the next video, bye bye, thank you.